This is Inside Mside, your favorite podcast for all things Morningside. Here's stories from students, alumni, faculty, and more about what makes the Morningside experience so special.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Inside Mside. My name is Caleb Watson, and I'm a junior on the wrestling team here at Morningside University. I'm joined today by head wrestling coach Jake Stevenson, a 2008 Morningside graduate himself, as well as current wrestlers Hunter DeJong and Noah Styskal. Over winter break, Coach Stevenson took the wrestling team to Arizona, where we wrestled Arizona Christian and ranked team Embry-Riddle. The team continued to wrestle ranked competition following the turn of the calendar, competing at the NWCA duels in Louisville, Kentucky in January. So, welcome guys to the podcast. Just kind of starting off, what do you guys think, what was the big idea behind going to Arizona for, behind the coach's eyes, I guess, and the NWCA duels also?
Going to Arizona, it's a trip that we've done a few times, and really, it's a great experience for the guys to go down to Phoenix, Arizona, getting some warm weather in the middle of December. We schedule some hikes of a couple, mountains and just, climbs there. So, good opportunity to get outside and do some physical activity. And, this time we were able to set up a couple duels against some teams down there around Phoenix area, Arizona Christians, located in Glendale, I believe it was, and then Embry-Riddle comes down from Prescott, Arizona. So we're able to schedule a couple matches and get the guys, on the mat for a few duels, and then also we do some training at Arizona State. So, just a great experience and a fun time to go somewhere that's warm when it's freezing back here in Sioux City. So, it was, it was a great experience. We obviously competed really well when we went down there. Guys stayed locked in. We dominated the duel against Arizona Christian and the duel against Embry-Riddle. So, um, just a great experience for the team and a lot of fun to be down in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, it was very cool to see. And, I didn't wrestle in it, of course, but I thought it was super awesome going down there. And it was such a different atmosphere. I found that, I've never really been, it just seemed a lot more laid back for them, I guess, than what we usually see up here. I felt like they were just a lot more, kind of, yeah, we have a wrestling duel, but then, we came down there and put the hammer on them. And I think that, that really tells, what kind of team we are. Hunter and Noah, I kind of have a question for you guys. So Coach was talking a little bit about how, we go down there, get some warm weather, get a little bit of change of scenery and everything. How big was that as a refresher for you guys, would you say? Going to break and then coming back and being ready for the second half of the season.
It was really nice just because the season gets really grueling, really long. So just having that time. I mean, we went there business in mind to wrestle first, but after that, we just had a lot of time to relax, just go sightsee around the area. So it just brought a fun aspect to the sport that sometimes isn't always the funnest. Really grueling, but it makes going into that Christmas break feel a lot better.
Yeah, I would agree with him. It gets kind of not boring, but it kind of sucks just always being in the cold and dead center of wrestling season. But it was nice just to go down there and beat up on them guys. But it was also nice, me personally, I don't do well with incline running, so it wasn't very fun. But getting to the top was well worth it. So it was a lot of fun.
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit about that too. So, we obviously went down there for business purposes. We came down there to win a couple duels and, really strengthen what we have as a program before heading into the second half of the season. But talk about kind of the fun too. We went on those 2 hikes. I really enjoyed them personally. What did you guys think?
Yeah, it was really nice the sightseeing, especially doing it as a team, being around everybody else. It's another team bonding thing. Also, like we had the free range to kind of do what we wanted with our off time as well. So just coordinating with other guys on the team. Going out to eat or going out to see stuff was really nice. Good for bonding with the team.
Yeah, it was a little misleading, I would say, just on the hikes. Someone told me that they're going to be easy to moderate, and by the time we got done, the sign said extremely difficult. So that was great, but yeah, it was really nice just to uh, get a big change of scenery. Like I come from the country, and just being in the big city like that, it was pretty crazy. And it's it kind of changes my aspect, just like how I've lived my life and like how they live theirs is completely different. And yeah, it was nice. We got to travel around a little bit. We found a nice unbaked ice cream shop that was pretty good. I know that they got a lot of business from our team, so that was pretty good. I might have to go back just for that. And uh, even the steakhouse we went to, that was really good as well. So
Yeah, I mean, again, we've had. I think this is our fourth trip down there, so we've had some opportunity to, kind of organize the trip. And then we also have a Sioux City native. He actually grew up in Vermilion, but his dad was a Morningside grad, like back in the, I think, 50s, and then his dad taught at USD for 40 years. But we connected with them. They're big wrestling people, and they live in the Phoenix area, and the Carantino's family. But like they've helped us set a lot of this up too. So I should give them a shout out. They have given me tips on the runs to do, and they've helped connect us with the Arizona State wrestling team. I don't think a lot of teams get to use the Arizona State's facilities, in prime wrestling practice time like we do. And they treat us really well at Arizona State and let us use all their facilities. And then, we always the Rustler's Roost is kind of like a Phoenix staple. So again, the Carantino's family just gives us those tips and helps us out. They also came and watched us, which was cool. So yeah, I mean, it's a great place for us. Phoenix is awesome, and I also a little bit of me thinks like, man, hopefully some of the guys retire down here and I can go visit them when I'm retired.
Yeah, it'd be a really great place. I loved Arizona. I'm definitely excited to go back. Kind of talking about that though, like how important do you guys think the pair of wins that we got down there was? And I know it was like right before season, and it wasn't at like a super big tournament or anything, but how important do you think it was to get those wins on the road and be ready for the second half?
I mean, just yeah, from coach's perspective, you know, having great momentum going into the break and just knowing like, hey, we got some big matches coming up after the break. It's important to finish strong and have everybody confident and excited to get back. It's always easier to come off a win and be excited for the next one than if you don't perform well and just kind of have the weight of what do I got to fix and stuff. And um, yeah, so I thought it was great. It was what we needed. And it gave us great momentum into the national duels event that we went to right when break was over. So um, yeah, for me as a coach, yeah, I mean, just that high level performance was really important and gave me confidence going into national duels that we were you know ready to rock and roll and to perform when we got there too.
So, kind of hitting back on that, gaining a lot of confidence going into the national duels in the second half of the season. Is there anything in particular, I guess, talking more to Hunter and Noah, that you guys think you learned about yourselves or learned about the team uh, heading and facing that competition that you don't normally see in the Midwest?
I think personally, just us. I think we have very different styles compared to everyone else that we wrestled. Just, I mean, where we are geographically, I think as well. Like, in me coming from Iowa, like I like to wrestle a really physical, uh, hard fought match, and a lot of kids don't like that. And like, I think it kind of breaks kids. And honestly, like I want to break them, and so that doesn't just help me in that match. It helps me preparing for nationals as well. Just possibly seeing them there, and then just knowing that they have those flashbacks of getting pounded, and that just helps me as well. Just prepare for that, but it was good to see that competition. I mean, we have good competition around here with Doane and some of the other teams in the GPAC, but um, there we like every single duel was a dogfight, and just having that top competition was really nice, and it I think it helped us know where we are at uh, as a team as well. Just knowing that we are a top 10 team and that we can definitely be a top 5 team for sure. So
Yeah, I think it also maybe opens some people's eyes, especially mine, um, just to where the level that we're at, um, just individually with certain wrestlers, wrestling guys that are high ranked, really good, giving them really tough matches. So I think it opens a lot of people's eyes of how close they really are to the top guys that are out there.
Right. And yeah, that's a big thing too, like just being around the program. Like we have a tough room. And like I think we've always had a tough room ever since I've been here, especially, but like Morningside has a pretty good tradition of wrestling. And I think that is very difficult for other teams, especially in different geographical locations. They don't see us very often. They don't know what to expect. But, I think going down there, we really kind of gave them something to expect for next time. Kind of let's switch over a little bit though, talking a little bit of the NWCA duels. I know that was kind of an invitational kind of thing. Tell us a little bit about that and how we ended up getting that invite.
Yeah, so they try and bring the top 16 teams in, and it's a thing where they really base their invites off of last year's competition. Um, if you finish in the top 16 in the individual, you get an invite. So we didn't get an invite after the national tournament last year, but we've had a great year, and we were highly ranked. Our preseason ranking was like 8 or 9 in the country. So basically they said, yeah, you're a lot better this year than you were last year, and we want you here. So they called us, and we accepted the invite. And yeah, we're excited to be there. I think we went into it ranked like 14th at the time, and we were unseeded in the tournament. But yeah, I mean that's kind of how we ended up there. It wasn't on the schedule when the season started, but the guys have been wrestling well and kind of proved that we were one of the top teams in the country. So they invited us to come prove it. And yeah, I mean the best teams in the country were there. There was a 16 team dual tournament, and we wrestled some really good teams. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and like we did really well, going in unseeded and then coming out eighth. I feel like that's really good in terms of just like really showing the country like where we are at as a program, where we're at as a team. You know, I wasn't there, of course, but when I heard about all of it, I was super excited. It just gets me pumped up seeing that Morningside's doing good.
Yeah, and I haven't even looked at it yet, but I'd be curious if any other team that placed in the top 8 was unseeded. Um, I would probably guess not. I mean, we knocked off the number 10 team or the number 6 team in the country right away, and then it would be like the number 12 or 13 team in the country. So I mean, we had some really nice wins, and then yeah, we wrestled. I think the number 5 team in the country lost to them, lost to the number 2 team. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm gonna guess that we're the only team that wasn't seeded in the top 8 that placed. But yeah, testament to the guys and the way they competed. And again, when we were down in Arizona, I told them like, you guys are gonna dictate how well we do at the national duels. Um, you know, because we had 10 days off. Basically, we had 10 days off. We practiced for 4 or 5 days. What was it? 4 days maybe, and then we went to national duels. So, 4 days doesn't really make up for 10 days of just sitting at home and eating grandma's cookies, So they really had to be focused and dialed in all break, and really sacrifice, what some people would consider Christmas break traditions, of eating and being lazy kind of. But they did an awesome job, and they came back, obviously, and proved that, we're a better team than everybody thought we were. And I think proved that we are as good as we think we are. And yeah, I think there was a ton of confidence on our team going into that, and I think we built on that. So yeah, it was a super fun event, and yeah, I just got to give credit to them for staying disciplined all break and continue to stay in the room and lift and do all the things that is important to compete at a high level. Because we did not have a lot of practice before we got there.
Yeah, and let's kind of touch on that a little bit because that, it kind of popped up just after winter break, like we were going to go to these duels. How did you go about preparing the team, and then what did you say to the team before the duels started? Like just to, kind of get them prepared mentally and physically and everything.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was kind of just put it on them really, and we're lucky enough, I guess, as a coaching staff to be blessed with guys that I've been here for a couple years and understand what a person has to do in order to compete at a high level, and just they have built a great culture of hard work and sacrifice. So it wasn't like we were asking them to do something that they weren't already accustomed to. It was just staying really dialed in over break when typically we wouldn't have to stay super dialed in. Typically we'd have a week, wouldn't have a huge competition when we got back, but this year it was a little bit different where we had fewer practices because we had to leave and drive 24 hours to get to Louisville, Kentucky, or 13. It's 24 round trip maybe, but yeah, I mean basically had a travel day and then an early day of competition. So yeah, we just had less practices. So as a coach, like we did 2-a-days right when we got back. So we tried to stack our practices and get a little more in the 4 days that we had, but still, it's just not enough. So they really had to stay dialed in. And then just talking to them, like for me, it was just all about continuing to do the things that we've been preaching of, mentally focusing on your match, focusing on your preparation because it is a big event, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, great competition. Like those are things that can start to get in your head and start to affect the way that you prepare and you might get too amped up and then have a little bit of an adrenaline dump when you get out there and things that mentally and physically can affect you. And our guys did a great job of staying within themselves, preparing themselves for their match and preparing themselves to just compete in their space. Not necessarily worry about their opponent or the team score even. Just stay within themselves and I think we did a great job of that. And I don't think guys went out there scared ever or conservative. Any of those things that sometimes happen in big matches, I didn't see us do that. So, which just again kind of reflects their preparation, the way they've gone about the season, their mental training, physical training, confidence, and all that stuff. I think it really shined and showed. And it was an impressive thing to watch them go in and compete that well.
Yeah, it was very awesome to see. I loved just seeing that. I mean, especially when we knocked off those teams right away. Like I was just watching the dual scores. I was like, let's go. It was so awesome. What did you guys think a little bit, going into national duels? I know, Coach hit on a little of the having to stay disciplined and really dialed in during the Christmas break. What was your guys' mentality going into national duels? And then what was it like after national duels was over? And more, personal and a team perspective.
Well, before we had heard about it a little bit before Christmas break, and I was pretty stoked about it just because I felt that it was a good way for us to prove a point. And so, like, my Christmas break was pretty busy with working out. Like, I had to buy a gym pass because I didn't want to run outside because it was too cold. But worked out pretty much every day, just hoping that or knowing that I'm working harder than whoever their team is going to put out, and took some losses, but gained a lot of experience. Looking back at it, can see that all of us are better from it, and realize where we're at compared to the rest of the competition, and that we're right there.
Yeah. kind of like what he had said of when we found out about it, I was super stoked just because um, I knew the teams that were going to be there, and um, the whole off season after I had surgery, I'd known the top returners and All Americans from my weight class, and like I knew who they were, and that was just the motivation to come back, and that's what drives me. And um, I had a new feeling of not necessarily pressure, but in our Ottawa duel, I'd never had the feeling of being the last match, and it's like if I lose, then we lose the duel. Like that was something really interesting to feel. But um, that was a lot of fun just to put the staple in the casket, um, and yeah, it was a good experience. I didn't quite have the showing I wanted, but I'm still pretty happy with how I did, and yeah, I'm looking forward to next year. So.
And you know, it kind of just that kind of goes back to that old saying, you know, pressure builds diamonds. And like I kind of see that within the team a lot. Like a lot of our teammates, like and kind of just the team as a whole, we don't really buckle under the pressure like that. We almost like it, you know. And that's something that I think is very unique with a lot of college wrestling teams. You know, I've seen a lot of teams that they really don't want to wrestle that high level competition. You know, they get nervous or they get kind of scared. They think of the worst case scenario, but I don't really see that ever. Like from the day to day, everyone always seems very excited to wrestle high level competition, and I feel like that's how it should be. But that's also something really tough to pass mentally, you know. And I feel like we've done a great job of that. Um, how do you think that the approach to competition now, though, has changed? Like, you know, you went to national duels, we had a really good showing. Um, is there new goals that we're kind of shooting for, or are we kind of sticking to the same things, or like, what are you guys thinking like now? How has the approach to competition changed?
I think it's the same. I mean, all that I care about is winning in the end. So I'm not going to change that goal because I want to be at the top. But it does show a lot of things. It did show a lot of things that need to be improved on certain positions, things like that. So it really helped try to dial into certain things that I need to work on, and I know that other guys have noticed that too. Certain things that they need to work on. So I think it propels us into our upcoming postseason really well, as we have been working on the certain things that each of us need that are gonna put us on that next level.
Yeah. Something that I've learned over the years is not to overlook your competition, no matter who it is, and like that's our next biggest match. So um, if that's Hastings, then we go just prepare for them, and then going into GPAC duels. Like I know it's really easy to get excited for Doan, but we have to get past Hastings and Midland first. They're our next biggest challenge, and um, yeah, it's just not backing down. It'll be a fun one, but we just have to come ready, and we have to we have to be prepared for what's in front of us first, rather than overlooking them. And yeah, kind of like what Noah had said, like just kind of tweaking things that we need to improve on, and um, just putting that towards practice. So, um, I mean, that's where you learn. You learn in the room, and yeah, if you don't like something, or if something didn't go your way out on the mat, then you just go back to the drawing board and you work on it, and um, yeah, just you get better. So
And I would say, like, just as a team, and these two guys, like, had pretty high goals, and you know that's one of the reasons that we went to the national duels is guys on the team have high expectations of themselves. You know, if our team wasn't in that position, we might not have went. But yeah, and I think probably reaffirmed that their goals were appropriate. I think it would probably be what I would say is you know they can be all Americans, they can contend for national titles, and yeah, I mean I think seeing that competition and be able to compete with them, kind of said that, and I don't think we had anybody going defeated, did we? So, I mean, everybody competed against guys that were, ranked in the top 5. And, I mean, everybody took a loss too. So it's like we got a little bit of both. We got a little bit of confidence of, hey, we're right where we need to be. But we also got a little bit of like realization is we got to get a little bit better too. And I think that was, critical for the trip and really what we wanted to get out of it. So as a coaching staff, we left there like super excited about the way we wrestled, but also super motivated for what we have to do to get better. Because we were seconds away from beating guys that were ranked, 1, 3, 5, anywhere in there. And we just gotta get a little bit better over the next 3 weeks, and I think we have guys that can contend for national titles, and super exciting. It's exciting to learn what you need to do, and it's exciting to be really close. I think one of you guys said it too. Like the timing was great. We have time to get better. But yeah, it was an awesome event. We gotta be in Kentucky too, which was kind of fun. Louisville was kind of cool. We competed, and then they didn't have any showers where we were wrestling, so we had to go to the Louisville football stadium and shower.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of cool though. You
Yeah.
see the stadium.
Yeah,
That's
I
pretty
used
neat.
Lamar Jackson's locker, I think.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
It was
And-
kind of a neat little side trip we had to take to go shower before we made the trip home.
Mm.
Then we hit some weather on the way home, so that was interesting. It was just an intense trip all the way around, but yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, well, honestly, and I feel like that's kind of how the wrestling team does really well, when we're surrounded by chaos. And I
Yeah.
feel like, so that's not good for a lot of teams, but for us, I feel like chaos usually does us pretty good. We adapt pretty well.
Yeah.
Our vehicle was nice.
Yeah.
How we got to watch our movies was very innovative. So,
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we took a 15-passenger charter van.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it had it was pretty comfortable. I mean, not my seat necessarily, the driver, but I think everybody else's was all right.
Yeah.
Then they were streaming Netflix in the back, so
Nice. Did they have like the TVs on each seat and everything, all the fancy?
No, they had-
one.
Yeah, they
Just
had a
one
big
TV?
TV up front, but the speakers didn't work, so we had to like plug in someone's phone to the aux cord and like match up the movie on their phone with the TV.
next time we'll have to bring a Bluetooth speaker out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would probably help me because that thing was so loud.
Yeah.
I needed, it was super loud for us up in the front. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it seems like it was a lot of fun.
We didn't get to see Churchill Downs, but that was probably the only thing I wanted to do that we didn't get to do.
Yeah. Kind of going back to that, we did really well and everything, but we also kind of made some adjustments from last year with the lineup, like both of you guys went up some weight classes, you spent the summer bulking up a little bit. Like, what do you guys think that did for our dual lineup? Because we had some incoming freshmen come in, just switching around everything. Like, what do you guys think that did? And was it beneficial to the overall dual team, do you think?
I mean, a lot of people, this is a team sport, but in the end, like you have to do your part for your team to win. If everybody does their part, you're gonna win. And I just thought that my best wasn't at 141 where I was at. I just thought that I could compete a lot better if I wasn't cutting as much weight. It also was able to kind of shine the light into other guys who are taking over those spots who maybe haven't been able to see our lineup yet. So it's able to give those younger guys the opportunities to get out in the lineup and see what they got. And I mean, those guys are doing really well as of right now. So it's exciting to see what we have coming up in the future.
I bet it's nice not having to cut as much weight. Be
Yeah.
able to eat a little bit on the weekends. And
Yeah, I eat full meals like every day. So
Yeah, it's right after the season, Coach and I had a nice talk, and we both thought it'd be beneficial for me to move up. I know I'm giving up a lot of weight, but I still feel like I'm pretty athletic enough to at least hold my ground. And like there hasn't been a match yet this year that I felt like, holy cow, I got overpowered. Like that doesn't affect me. Yeah, it's different. I gotta get used to guys being a lot bigger, and that just makes my cardio better. But it's nice not having to cut weight, or it's really nice to be able to actually eat during Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's pretty. That's pretty. I haven't felt like that in a long time, but yeah, it's hard to say just because I mean our team I believe is still pretty tough, but um, I don't know. It's kind of like a flip flop. Like if I was not at 97, who would be our heavyweight? Like if we'd be tougher, I'm not sure, but um, yeah, I think we're right where we need to be. So
Yeah, and as a coaching staff, it's really just our opinion that guys need to compete at their best. No matter what weight it's at. Um, and obviously, like it's nice when it works out, and you don't have two guys at one weight that are both really tough. It makes it a little bit easier as a coach to pick your dual lineup and stuff. But yeah, I mean, if you're not competing at your best at the weight you're at, then you're really not helping the team that much. And that's just kind of our philosophy in general. And the reality is like if you're wrestling 184 and we need you to wrestle 197, I don't think it's that big of a deal to bump up a weight class either. The guys might not always agree with me, but I don't think it's that big of a deal to give up. We had a 65 pounder that I wrestled up 3 weight classes in one, so it doesn't really bother me to bump them up. When in the reality is like they practice with each other all the time. I mean, Noah and Hunter practice together. That's a 60-pound difference. Yeah, I mean, we just every single day you have guys that are wrestling outside the weight class. So, you get it in your mind that, oh man, you're giving up 20 pounds or 5 pounds or whatever, and you start thinking how big of an impact that's going to make. But yeah, I mean, I've wrestled, 65 pounders that are tanks and super strong, and I've wrestled 97 pounders like Hunter that are weenies, so you never know. And so I think like we make a big deal out of the weight part of it, and that's wrestling in general. But yeah, I mean these guys were good wrestlers at whatever weight they're at, and that's just I think our philosophy as a team too. Like, man, get great practices every day, right? Get better. The weight part, hopefully will figure itself out. Yeah, it's just kind of the way I think. I don't know. As a coach staff, that's kind of the way we prioritize it. Improve, get great practices, and then we'll make a decision on what weight you should be at. Yeah, and even the guys that are, cutting weight, like, John Diener, he didn't cut down until January. It was kind of a push from us to be like, don't cut weight for 6 months, or 5 months, whatever. Let's just cut weight for 2 or 3 months, and yeah, just practice harder and be hydrated and all the things that make you want to go to practice every day and work really hard. Because yeah, I haven't met anybody yet that loves cutting weight. It's something that we do, and it's one of the sacrifices that are made, but it's not the best part about wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the best part's just beating people up, and you can do that better when you got a lot of energy. So
and you have 3 meals in your stomach.
yeah, that helps. Maybe 2. There's plenty of that.
Yeah, maybe 2's enough. Yeah, so we're probably getting closer to the end here. Just before we get ready to cut out, I kind of want to ask you guys, what are the big motivators for the rest of the season, and what are you guys most looking forward to, would you say? I mean, obviously Nationals is a big one, but like maybe before Nationals, what are you guys really looking forward to as a team?
I'd say definitely the Doan duel. I mean, I know Hunter said that we got to focus on our first 2 duels before then, and the way that we've been wrestling all season, I don't think it's going to be a problem. We're focused. We're ready to go when we have that guy in front of us. But the Doan duel is a pretty big event, as it's probably going to be for the GPAC title, and and I really think that we can. I mean, they've beat us the last 2 years, but I think that we can flip the script this year and take them out.
Yeah, I agree with him. Like that's probably the most exciting thing to be looking forward to. I look forward to stepping out on the mat every single time, but I'd say that's probably the biggest moment. And yeah, just being able to challenge myself as an individual, but also challenge ourselves as a team. And I just feel like we haven't got the respect that we necessarily deserve. Not that rankings matter, but I think we're a lot better than what people give us credit for. And it's just time to prove that to people. So
Yeah, I think the Doan duel's big. It's basically came down to Doan and us the last 2 years, and they nipped us. So exciting! It's always exciting to wrestle them. They have great competitors, and they bring a nice competitive fire to the gym. So that'll be a fun duel. Obviously, conference tournament. Looking forward to that. That's the third week in February, and then of course, nationals. We go down to Wichita, Kansas for that. And I would say like I'm looking forward to our season and everything we have in front of us. We got another top 10 ranked duel February 8th, so that'll be a fun one. And really, it's a pleasure to coach these guys every time. So I really do enjoy it all. And then we're also going to keep training and go to the U.S. Open out in Vegas the end of April. So really, I'm pretty pumped about that one too. Like, yeah, there's not a lot of trips that we have to go on that I don't look forward to. We were supposed to go to Jamestown. I really wasn't excited about that, but we don't have to go to North Dakota anymore, so that's probably a huge perk in my schedule. But yeah, I would say we have quite a few fun things coming up. Great opportunities to compete hard, wrestle with tough dudes, and yeah, have fun as a team. Last year we went out to U.S. Open in Vegas and got an Airbnb and wrestled some really tough guys, and yeah, that was a great trip too. So yeah, looking forward to that one too. The next 3 months, we're gonna have a lot of fun wrestling. So excited for all those opportunities. Yeah,
Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much for doing this. It was awesome.
yeah. Thanks for having us, Caleb.
yeah, thank you.
Appreciate
Lots of
it.
good things to talk about. And thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Inside Mside.